The new war was straightforward in some ways, but in other ways it opened new ideas in the lore that has left a lot of us scratching our heads. One of the most puzzling story elements to me was what happened to the Tenno at the end of Act 1, and how the Drifter then took his place. What happens here isn't spoon-fed to the player, and we must assume more answers are going to be coming as we explore our paradox and our relationship with the Man in the Wall in later quests. However, if we carefully analyse the events of the New War quest, we can begin to piece together some clues as to what might have happened. Namely, did we die at the hands of Ballas, and if not, what happened to us? I have seen split opinions on this across forums and Reddit etc, on whether the operator actually dies or not. Yet in my opinion, it's pretty clear that we did not die here at all. Let's first start by reviewing what happens at the conclusion of Act 1 when we confront Ballas and Era. Teshin is used to draw us out, but we are ultimately too late to save him before Era seemingly breaks his neck. It is obvious that Ballas and Era have laid a trap for us here, as they desperately want Teshin in his confused state to call the Tenno to this spot. However, he breaks through the control, but is killed before he can call us here. But nonetheless the Tenno has been lured here anyway, as Era and Ballas have planned. Ballas then reveals Nata, drained and crumbling, no doubt because of what happened to her in the Maker prologue, where she was forced into device and drained like a living battery. After Ballas drains the last of her power through a kiss, it is revealed what Nata's power was used for, to open a portal into the void. Nata was not only used to draw us here, but also to power up the instrument of our banishment. As we watch Nata tumble into the void, we sit there in shock and are defeated. Then Ballas takes the opportunity to stab us in the back with the pyrocesis, resulting in us falling dead-like into the void. So before Ballas stabs us, he says, "You cannot kill the devil, Tenno."
You cannot kill the devil, Tenno. But you can send it back to hell.
The devil obviously being a metaphorical reference to ourselves, as it is well established at this point that is how Era and Ballas refer to us. This statement confirms that the Tenno are unable to be killed in the traditional sense, and in fact aren't quite normal humans anymore since the Zariman incident. In fact, this lack of normal mortality is reinforced later by Hunhouse' statement in Act 2, where he states something along the lines of, "I don't know how many lives a Tenno has, but you seem keen to lose another." It's almost as if DE are trying to ram home the point that the Tenno are effectively immortal. We don't die like normal beings. This is shown in everyday gameplay. When we are in operator form and we die, we freeze and become all staticky before phasing back into our frame. Likewise here, when Ballas stabs us, we freeze and become staticky just like in normal gameplay. So again, we aren't dying in the traditional sense, we are just temporarily being disabled. As a result, Ballas has prepared a void portal, as he is aware he cannot permanently kill us, and so must instead remove us from this point in time to another point in time so he can pursue his plans unhindered by the Tenno. Ballas does in fact tell us where he is sending us as he continues his metaphor.
You cannot kill the devil, Tenno. But you can send it back to hell.
You cannot kill the devil, Tenno, but you can send them back to hell. Following the same metaphor as before, we can tell that the metaphor is referring to us as the devil, then hell must be where we came from, i.e. the Zariman incident. So we are not dead, but we are incapacitated, and we are pulled into the void portal, removing us from this place in time. As Eternalism in the classroom explains, Warframe time isn't linear, but is more like a solid object, where all of time and alternate timelines exist in the same reality in a non-linear manner, just at different locations within that reality's makeup, illustrated by different points on a cube in the Zariman classroom. So Ballas uses this void portal to move us from one point of the cube to another. We are no longer in our current timeline, but now exist in the Zariman incident, another time that exists simultaneously in the same cube as the Narmer present. Having been moved by Ballas through use of a void portal, it means we are no longer in the present to stop Ballas while he executes his Narmer plan. Instead, our Tenno is returned back to the Zariman incident with both times happening concurrently together in the same object of reality, rather than in a straight line of one sequence after the other. I hope that makes sense because we are moving on. What I will mention next is complete speculation, but speculation I think makes logical sense following these previous points. Messing with Eternalism in this way must be difficult and is not as straightforward as moving someone back around their own timeline, moving them back in time as it will. And most likely Ballas opening the void portal to the Zariman incident had some unexpected consequence. which in this case meant we didn't just get sent back, we were in fact swapped places with a version of us who was never rescued from the Zariman incident, the Drifter. The Drifter then appears in our current timeline due to Ballas' meddling, most likely picking up the Lotus from his place in the Eternalism cube, before swapping into our current timeline. This is how he is in the present time with the Lotus, and we are in the Zariman once again. But how do we come back? Well, that's a little trickier, and again, this is speculation, but it's almost as if the Operator and the Drifter, having swapped places, now both simultaneously exist in the same timeline at the same time. So when the Drifter moved into our future, our past became his past, which is how he then gains the Void powers when it concurrently catches up to the point when the Operator accepts the powers aboard the Zariman. This is why he says, "I didn't lose my powers, I just haven't gained them yet." This then links our two timelines, and we now both inhabit the same present, which is why the Operator is able to move back, but the Drifter is also in this same spot at the same time. The paradox. So to conclude and answer the question in this video, first set, no, we do not die. We are shifted from one time to another through the Void portal provided by Ballas, only to reclaim our place in the same instance as the Drifter, thanks to the link that was created when Ballas sent us back and swapped us in the Void portal. We now exist in the same place, and this creates a link between us both. So thanks guys, that's my take on what happens. We aren't killed, we are just sent to a different point in time, and are then linked with the Drifter by us having swapped places through our Eternalism cube. But what do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm right, or if you think I'm wrong, and let me know, because of course this is speculation, so I'd love to hear your opinions on it. If you like this video, please consider giving it a subscribe, as I do Warframe content, generally tackling questions of lore. Check out my Grineer lore history video, which is quite a long and cinematic take on the Grineer history. But until next time guys, I will see you on the battlefields of the new war. Take care and have a nice night.